Good morning, second grade. This is our last week of learning phonograms. Remember, on Friday, we're going to know all 72. All right, so we're just going to learn some new ones, review some old ones, and spell some words with some of our old phonograms to help them really get stuck in our heads so we're ready to start spelling next week. All right, this is our first new phonogram for today. This one says n. Class, what does this say? Good. Right? Just like this one by itself says and remember my teeth are touching, but my lips are open. So that helps me know it from So this one says just like this one. So this one we call two-letter n. Can you say that with me? Two-letter n. Good. But this is two-letter n used only at the beginning of a base word. Class, what is this? Say it with me. Two-letter n used only at the beginning of a base word. All right, so this will only be at the beginning of a word, not anywhere else. All right, so to write my two-letter n used only at the beginning of a base word, I write my first letter and close but not touching the second letter and underline. Class, what is this? Good. Two-letter n used only at the beginning of a base word. Great. All right, it's your turn. Write it and say it while you write it. Two-letter n used only at the beginning of a base word. All right, check your work. Make sure it looks like that. If not, fix it. If it does, then you're good to write it 2 more times. And after you fixed it, we'll also write it 2 more times. I'll say this one with you because I know that ending part can be a little confusing. Two-letter n used only at the beginning of a base word. All right, leave a clock space. One more time. Two-letter n used only at the beginning of a base word. All right, one more time. You say the first part, I'll help you with the end. Good. Used only at the beginning of a base word. All right, nice job, class. This is our next new phonogram. This one is also n. What does this say? Say it with me. N. Right, again, just this one. Same sound. N. This one we call two-letter n as well, because we have 2 letters. This one's whole name. All right, so let's just say that first part, two-letter n. The end of this is used both at the beginning and the end of a base word. All right, say that with me. Two-letter n, used both at the beginning and the end of a base word. Excellent. One more time, what is it? Two-letter n, used both at the beginning and the end of a base word. Excellent job, class. All right, to write my two-letter n used both at the beginning and the end of a base word, I always leave a clock space. Write my first letter, close but not touching the second letter. I always say it while I'm writing it. Two-letter n, used both at the beginning and the end of a base word, and I underline it. Class, what is this? Good, say it with me. Two-letter n, used both at the beginning and the end of a base word. All right, it's your turn. Write it. Say it while you write it. I'll help you out with that end part. Good. Used both at the beginning and the end of a base word. All right, good. Make sure it looks like this. All right, write it again. Say it while you write it. Good. Use both at the beginning and the end of a base word. All right, good. One more time. What are you going to write? Good. Two-letter n, used both at the beginning and the end of a base word. So write it and say it while you write it. All right, nice job, class. What did you just write when you wrote this phonogram? Good. N, two-letter N. Use both at the beginning and the end of a base word. Excellent. All right, our last new phonogram for today is this one. This says, class, what does this say? Good. One more time, say that with me. Good. This one, since it has two letters, we call two-letter. What is this? Very good. Two-letter. All right, so to write my two-letter, I'm going to leave a clock space. Write the first letter, close but not touching. All right, the second one, say the sound while I write it. Two-letter. And underline to show those two letters work together to make that sound. Class, what is this? Very good. Two-letter. Every time we see this phonogram, our word is going to have a Greek root, right? Because this spelling for it comes from the Greek. So every time we see this, we know, oh, this word is from the Greek. All right, are you ready to write your two-letter? All right, say it while you write it. Make sure you underline. Right, and check. If you didn't get it, fix it. And then when we all have it one time, we can move on and write it again. Say it while you write it. Very good. Two-letter. All right, nice job. One more time. What are you writing? Good. Two-letter. All right. Class, what does this say? Good. This is two-letter. How about this one? All right, say it with me. N, two-letter N, used only at the beginning of a base word. Good. And how about this one? Good. N, two-letter N, used both at the beginning and the end of a base word. All right, let's review some of our phonograms from back earlier in the year. All right, the first one is the of her. What are you going to write? Very good. The of her. Say it while you write it. All right, this is our the of her. So if you didn't remember that one, pause the video, write it 3 times, say it while you write it. I promise you, it's going to make such a difference. Don't waste your time by writing it and not saying it while you write it. All right. Next is the of bird. Class, what are you going to write? Good. The of bird, write it and say it while you write it. All right, class, what did you just write? Good. The of bird. And underline. All right, if you didn't have that, write it 3 times. Say it while you write it. All right, next let's do the of worms. What are you going to write? Very good. The of worms. Make sure you're leaving clock spaces. This is our the of worms. All right, so if you didn't have that, write it 3 times. Say it while you write it so it gets in your head. All right, the next phonogram is what? One more time. I'll say that one more time. Hopefully you can hear me well. What are you going to write? Excellent. Say it while you write it. All right, class, this is our If you didn't have that, write it 3 times, saying it while you write it. All right, our next phonogram is ow, o, oo, What are you going to write? Good, ow, o, oo, Remember, and that is our talkative hurt twin. So say it while you write it. All right, class, put your finger under that phonogram you just wrote and read it to me. Good, ow, o, oo, That is this one, ow, o, oo, So if you didn't have that, write it in now and say it while you write it. 3 times, please. Let's see, and let's review one that we learned just the other day. So let's write our A, 4-letter A. Class, what are you going to write? Good, A, 4-letter A. Say it while you write it. All right, read me the phonogram that you just wrote, class. Very good, A, 4-letter A. All right, so if you didn't have that one, go ahead and write it in 3 times, saying it while you write it. All right, nice work today, class. We'll come back more for some spelling, but go and take a break.